Thank you for joining us for Coffee With today. Our guest is Fawn Francis, a massage therapist here in town celebrating 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And currently working at a wild hair salon. Thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
And by the way, thanks for working out those kinks this morning. Feel
Not
much better. I actually met you last year when I moved to Vicksburg. Because of your massage therapy, and we'll talk about massage therapy and your job there a little later, but I wanted to talk about your pro-Vicksburg attitude.
Okay.
You and I talked a little bit about that. I know that Vicksburg's important to you, not just Main Street, but Vicksburg in general. So share with me some of your thoughts.
Well, I grew up in Vicksburg. I'm a Vicksburg girl, and I moved away, and I went to St. Louis and Hattiesburg, and I went to school at USM.
Okay.
And then I went to St. Louis and lived there, and fell in love with St. Louis and the downtown area. And Vicksburg reminds me a lot of that, with the potential of everything, especially nowadays.
Okay.
It's really, really just making me a very positive person about the way Vicksburg is going.
Wonderful.
Because of the way that downtown is coming alive. More young people who have moved away are coming back. And the great thing about Vicksburg is the community, the neighborhoods. They're not really any bad neighborhoods. I know a lot of people who've never left Vicksburg think there's a lot of bad neighborhoods, but in the real world, no, there's not that many bad neighborhoods. There's like sections, but there's not like bad. So one of the things I like about Vicksburg is the fact that the neighborhoods are good. You can still let your kid play outside. You can ride bikes. There's a lot of parks now, which is wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful about the park. And now there's a lot of cultures here, a lot of culture, not just teen stuff, but the music and the arts, and with the Southern Culture Center. It's just, it's amazing the way that they have theater programs and dance programs. And I mean, it's just a great way for people to learn about the history and about where they come from, because I think history is really important, and coming from a historical town, I think really made me very reflective.
Okay.
So when I look at myself and I look at the world around me, I have to remind myself of the history, because I realize how much history can shape a place.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of stuff here in Vicksburg. The only reason why it's here in Vicksburg is because of the historical aspect of it. You know, most people have let their history go, and now you look at their cities and there's not a lot there. But with Vicksburg, there's a lot of that history. So it's a real good reflection on yourself and where you come from,
And the
being
past,
reminded of it.
Continually.
And, yeah,
Right.
continually, which is just, I think is really wonderful about it.
And one of the things you mentioned, you know, the parks and all that, and a lot of people come to Vicksburg and think, okay, there's the National Military Park, and sometimes they think really that's all that's here. And
Right.
they forget about downtown Main Street and about the theater and the music that we offer, that not just Riverfest, but you know, every weekend there's something going on, and you know, that kind of stuff. Now, you were saying that you think it's family oriented, and I'm interested in that because, again, working at the chamber, I do get a lot of calls saying, you know, well, I'm coming in with our kids or our grandkids, and what is there to do? So, are there some favorite things that, I know you have a son, are there some favorite things that he likes about Vicksburg?
He loves the river park. Loves
Okay.
it. He enjoys that because he likes that waterfall and the little water
Right.
and the sprinkle and stuff. That's a real fun thing to do with him. And he loves the Southern Culture Center. He likes going and doing art and stuff there. Now, as far as like just vacationing and coming, my nephew came down once when he was 10 years old, and what we did with him is we took him to the Coca-Cola Museum right here for ice cream. Cause I made it kind of like an adult day, so we did go to the military park, and then we went to the Coca-Cola Museum down here so he could get ice cream and a float. Then we went down to the park so he could play, and the grandparents can look at the murals because it's all real close right there, so that's kind of convenient. And then the boat tour, there's a tour of the water, which is wonderful. Kids love boats.
They like being on the Mississippi, don't they?
Yes. So the boat tour is a really good thing to do. And in some of the antebellum homes, if you go to like some of the antebellum homes, they have like little skits and stuff that are really cool and stuff like that. That I think kids can enjoy.
Right. Now, speaking of skits, you've done some theater here.
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't stalking you, but you were in A Heart Divided. I think that was in 2007?
Yes, and that was done by Mr. Jeff, and he moved here, and he's probably been here, I don't know how long he's been here, but I would say at least 8 years, but he's a new person, and he's that good, fresh blood that's just coming in, and I really think it's saturating Vicksburg to the potential it is. It's actually becoming what it should be, which I'm really excited about. And that was a great play because it dealt with the racial issues.
Okay.
And the black and white, which I totally, when I did the play, I saw a lot of that because I did grow up in a mixed community as far as the school system goes.
Okay.
But the churches and everything are still very divided. So that's what it was kind of talking about, how we are kind of all together, but yet we're still
Have some
division, but yet we're all human and we all have the same passions, we all have the same desires. And that's what I think is really another cool thing about being in Vicksburg is you see all dynamics.
Yes.
You do. You know, you see from the very wealthy to the very poor, and you all have to interact. In a lot of places, you get to live in little gated communities
Right.
and not get to see each other.
But no.
And here, you have to accept the fact that we're all in it together.
And especially, you know, with the flood that we just went
Yes.
through, you know, there were all kinds of people interacting and helping each other and working together to make sure that everything stayed the same. And I agree, that's one of the things I noticed, you know, coming from a suburb of Chicago, it's very much, okay, there's this pocket, and you don't have that here as much. And I agree also, I see a lot of bringing in new people who come here and they're adding, and I say adding energy because, you know, there's so many native Vicksburgians that have the energy and they need a little assistance to help get going. And
Right.
in the year I've been here, I think I've seen Vicksburg grow tremendously, and it excites me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, just from when I left in the 90s, and when I left Vicksburg, there was absolutely, literally nothing to do here. I mean, nothing. And then to come back years later with a family and everything, and to see just the potential and how it's just kind of exploded, it's just awesome.
Right, it really is.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of awesome things, you just got back from a vacation, didn't
I
you?
did. I went to Disney World.
So jealous.
I know, I was so excited myself.
I had told you before you left, I'm 55 years old and I've never been to Disney.
And I think everybody should. I really do. I think it's the most awesome place on the face of the earth.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
great. What was the high point of this trip?
Getting to see my kid enjoy it.
Yeah.
Really.
Is that his first trip?
It's his first time,
Okay.
and my husband went when he was like 2 or 3, so he didn't remember it. So it was really neat to just see them remember. And I didn't really remember that they changed so much since the last time I was there. So it was almost like a new trip for me too, because I mean everything was different but the same. It was really weird.
Okay.
But
so
Disney
you got
World,
to see it through your eyes as well as your son's eyes as
Yes.
a first timer.
yeah, and him, it was amazing because he would act all cool, like
How old is he?
he's 8.
Okay.
And then as soon as you like looked over and he wasn't looking, he's just like the whole time. And it was so cool to see him just like.
Oh.
And then I didn't realize how much more. I didn't realize how much educational stuff was there.
Oh yeah, with the Epcot centers and all those types of things.
Like I
right?
knew it was educational, but I didn't realize how much. Like I was like, wow. Like it was just really cool to see like all the neat stuff, and like they're really focused on the environment now at Disney World. So it was really a lot about the environment. Like when I was a kid and I went there, it was all about the future,
Right.
inventing and reinventing and becoming more and empowering yourself, and we're all going to live on the moon.
Right.
And now when I go back, it's all about becoming one with nature. Go back to finding out technological ways so that we can live in the world and be part of the world, and not so much of a distant, but how can we be part of who we are now? How do we take electricity issues and waste issues, and how do we make it work? Because we can't go back. You know, once you have electricity, you can't put it back in the box and say, I'm sorry, we're not going to do it anymore. So they were talking about solar, and they were talking about hydro, and they were talking about wind, and it was just really neat to see all the cool stuff that they're putting into little kids' minds of like how our future could be. And one of the rides, when you go up the big golf ball, that's what Bram calls it, the big golf ball. When you go up there, at the very end, they do like this little video, and they ask you all these questions, like what kind of future you would like. And mine, I was like, I want urban. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to I wanted to live inside but outside. So my little house was like all glass, and I had a carpet of grass, and I had a little creek, and I had a little thing, and I was like, this is so cool. I could totally live there. I was like, invent this tomorrow. I would be there.
See, and I can see you doing that because in the times that we share, you know, I really see that you have such a giving soul, Fawn. You really do.
Well, thank you.
It comes across not just in your massage touch, which I think is helpful to you being successful, but in just, I remember the first time when I came in, and obviously my back was hurting because I'd been moving and everything, and I said, you know, I just moved here, I don't have a job, and you were so kind to go and say, okay, well, here's some ideas, and, you know, this is this, and just kind of helping me. And you didn't know me from Adam, and it's really shown through. I know that you do work with your church. I always get confused because you do work also with the Girl Scouts,
yes.
even though you have a son. And I keep thinking, does she have a daughter or does she do Boy Scouts? But it's Girl Scouts.
Yes.
And how did you get involved with the Girl Scouts?
I'm a lifelong Girl Scout.
Okay.
I started as a Brownie.
Wow.
And I've gone all the way through Brownie to adult. I have my Gold Award, my Silver Award. And then I went and did, like, when I graduated high school, my mom signed me up to be a lifelong member of Girl Scouts.
Wow.
So that's how I got involved. And you know how they say there's a village that raised a child? Mm-hmm. Well, I was totally raised by a village. Like, my Girl Scouts, the American Red Cross with the summer programs, that's another great thing for kids to do here in the summertime. Highly recommend it. But the American Ross, I don't know, they do the, but it was at the city pool.
Okay.
And with them, the American Red Cross, and then my church, and then Vicksburg Theater Guild when I got to junior high. That helped me through my trouble times.
There you go. And we all have them.
Yes, and they kept me out of trouble. Mm-hmm. And between all of those, that's what raised me to be the person I am. So I was very lucky to be raised by responsible adults.
Right, and a community that provided you that village.
Yes.
Now, speaking of that, and then knowing about the theater, have you thought about going and finding another production that you could do maybe with your son?
Brammy doesn't want to do theater.
Okay, not interested at all?
Not interested in being on stage at all. He is like, I am not,
Okay.
Now, he likes back-to-stage stuff, so he helps Grandma. Grandma does fairy tale theaters.
Okay.
And that's a program that's in the summertime with kids. And so he'll go and help and paint with that and stuff like that. But he's like, I don't want to be on stage. So I don't know if he'll ever be in a production with me.
He could be your backstage man. There you go.
But if you want to do a production with kids and you ever want to do it, Go in the Hills, I highly recommend. It's a good family play.
The longest running
melodrama.
Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm. My dad produced it for a little while, and it's still going on. And that is, I'll tell you, there are families in there that is from one generation to the next generation to the next generation to the next generation.
That is one of my goals. I have not seen it yet. And that's one of my goals to see before I leave.
Try to get to see it when they let you throw the peanuts, because there's something about throwing peanuts at a villain that just quenches the thrill of it.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Do you want to talk about your massage therapy at Wild Hair?
Sure. I do massages up there. I got into massage therapy when I moved to St. Louis. I was going to join the Peace Corps.
Okay.
And I had gotten into the Peace Corps, and I'd done all my paperwork, and I did my interviews, and I had country picked out, and I was going to learn the language.
Where were you going to go?
Somewhere in Africa. I can't remember exactly where, but there was two places that I was like, they were telling me that would be good points for me. So but I had to do, like, they told me I had to do 2 years of learning the language and all that stuff. So I had gotten like all that, but I had a call because the way that I had got into it, 1 year was just me calling over and over and over again and basically confirming I still wanted to do it. So that's where I was. I was in that phase where I was just calling to confirm that I really did want to do it. Well, I ended up getting married instead.
Okay.
So I found my husband and got married, and then I was like, well, I'm not doing the Peace Corps anymore because he told me I couldn't do it because, you know, we just got married.
Right. Well, I understand.
So I was like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I wanted to do massage therapy forever. That was something that I was going to join the Peace Corps, then I was going to go to New York, and then I was going to do massage therapy and act. That was like my thoughts, or kind of what my plan was. And then I ended up not going the Peace Corps route, so I went ahead and went the massage therapy route. So I went ahead and got into school, started my massage therapy, and then just went from there. And I always loved massage therapy. I've always done research on it. because I was a gymnast, and so I used to get massages all the time when I was a gymnast. So I always realized the benefits of it. So I liked that. I like the peacefulness of it and the spirituality of it, and just the relaxation. But I like
blends that physical and spiritual piece.
It's all mind, body, and spirit, and it's a great place to get it all connected.
Right.
And I like that. I like the whole connectedness of it. So that's why I really got into it and enjoyed it. And when I started doing it, I haven't looked back.
Well, you definitely have a knack for it, because I know there's many people that have told me how great they think you are, and I know personally I go and I'm just like, I'm in heaven.
Thank you.
So you actually are, again, celebrating 10 years, and you've got a special going on.
Yes, I have a summer deal for all my clients, and I've been mailing out postcards. I haven't gotten them all out, sorry. I'm still working on it. But what I'm doing is I'm mailing out a postcard. I'm giving you 10 massages for $10 off, and then you get the 11th one for free as a yay for the next year.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you, not just for my massages and helping me feel healthy, but also for your full support that you do give Vicksburg, because I saw you in the parade with the Girl Scout float, I believe it was, and I mean, you're always there, and I know that you're always there for your family and for your friends, for your church, for all that, and we thank you for being a vital member of Vicksburg.
Well, I try. I mean, I think that's one of those things, at the end of the day, when you look back at your life, you're not going to be but a spark, so you better be a bright one.
Well, you are.
I try. There's some days where I'm like, but I'm trying to get back to being as bright as I think I have the potential of being. I'm not up to my capacity yet. I still have a lot more little layers to go.
But it's really nice to know that there's somewhere to go. It
Right.
really is. Thank you for joining me today. You have a great day.
You too, Mrs.
Thank you, Mom.
Promotional consideration provided by
Amber Sanders from Happy Hair. Get your hair happy at 3402 Wisconsin Avenue.